I would now like to welcome Scott Tufankjian. Scout Tufankjian is an American Armenian photographer known for her work documenting both of Barack Obama's presidential campaigns and the global Armenian diaspora. She has spent many years working and teaching in Armenia and Artsakh and was the co-creator of Andoni, a collaboration with composer Mary Kuyumjian about the ethnic cleansing of Artsakh that premiered in May of 2024 at the New York Philharmonic. Please join me in welcoming Scout Tufankjian.
Hello, everyone. Well, it no longer makes sense to start by introducing myself. My name is Scout Tufankjian. I'm a photographer, and I've worked for years to document our lives as Armenians, not only as survivors of the genocide we commemorate today, but also as the community that you see around us here in the center of New York City, in the diaspora, in Armenia, both Western Armenia and the Republic, and especially in Artsakh. But that doesn't necessarily mean I know how to talk about any of it. I know what I used to talk about. I used to talk about our tendency to focus on moments in our history over our present, our monuments over our people, in a way that has led many outsiders to understand our culture as beginning with our Christianity and ending with our genocide. And obviously, there is huge importance in emphasizing our history. We are the first Christian nation. The genocide was a defining trauma that reverberates through what's happening in Armenia and Artsakh today. But we are also still here. We have grown and adapted and changed as all cultures have. And Artsakh was an incredible place less than 2 years ago, whose citizens and culture needed to be preserved. I used to talk a lot about the importance and value of documenting and promoting Artsakh's living, breathing culture. I worked with young Artsakhis trying to show their Artsakh to the world the way they saw it, not this unrecognized republic we heard about on the news. I used to talk about how Dadivank is not just valuable to us because it is clear proof of our indigeneity and our long history in Artsakh. It is important because it was a place where we baptized our children and celebrated our faith, right up until the moment we stopped being able to attend. We have lost Hajin and Gurun and Kharpert. We can visit, maybe even buy property from the people who stole our homes from us, but the ways in which we lived there are gone. And now, history has repeated itself. Once again, Armenians have been forced to flee their homeland of millennia, forced to make that horrific, unimaginable choice between staying and dying or leaving with the hope to live, between saving the land or the culture, between saving our homes or our children, which of course is no choice at all. We are no longer just talking about the losses, still tragic, of our grandparents and great-grandparents and our ancient cemeteries. We're talking about our sons and our husbands and our cousins and our students. We are talking about graves belonging to older brothers, not distant relatives. It is no longer our ancestral homes that were lost, but our actual homes, where we just picked out new curtains and finished painting our daughters' bedrooms and nursed our newborn children. Part of being Armenian is this constant explaining to people that the things that have happened to us have actually happened, that the genocide actually happened. And this is still true 110 years later, Mayor Adams. Now, after driving the Artsakhis from their homes, Aliyev has, if anything, doubled down, arresting dozens of Azerbaijani activists and tearing down our parliament building as if terrified that his citizens will see that at one point democracy had existed in Artsakh. Most recently, he's threatened Tavush and Sunik and has released a horrific Nowruz video defiling the holiday and declaring that the Nowruz bonfire is also doing the final cleansing. And instead of rising up in horror, the world has awarded him with gas contracts and the United Nations Climate Change Conference. And so, honestly, I don't know what to say, other than that the lives of these people still matter. Over 100,000 people were ethnically cleansed in less than a week, and the enormity of that is something I certainly can't wrap my head around or speak about with any sort of sense or eloquence other than a howl of rage, and I was there. I saw the families carrying everything that they could fit to try to rebuild their lives. their books, their lemon tree, their cat. A family from Vonk brought their children's toys and a small bundle of flowers from their garden, carefully tied with a red ribbon. A woman from Askaran brought the cheer that she had hastily thrown into bags for her kids as they fled their homes to the Russian peacekeeping base, hoping for safety, but knowing there was little chance that the Russians would share their food. I met an 8-year-old boy who was being displaced for the second time in his life. First from his home in Hadrut, and now from Artsakh itself. Asked to resettle in Sionik, his father said, absolutely not. I will not do this to my kids again. We are moving to Alaverdi, far away from the Azeri border. I met a woman who was born in 1920 in Mardakert and is now a refugee. I met school kids on their first day of their new schools in the Ararat Valley, and I saw how their classmates helplessly tried to ease their pain. And I am still haunted by the way you could tell at a glance which of these kids were from Artsakh and had had their lives shattered, and which were not. And by the parents who are now celebrating their sons' 22nd birthdays, not at home, but at the cemetery in Yereblur. And I find that I keep returning over and over again to the words of Barur Sevak in Garzumem, that we first notice the earth that time when it moves under our feet. The ground has moved under our feet again. And so the question is, what do we do now? How do we help people? I'm hopeful that the people here will help try to answer these questions because they're vitally important. Much as there were good people spearheading a global effort to help our ancestors, we need a concerted effort to get people help now, to get people support, trauma support, housing support, financial support, educational support. We need to figure out ways to get farmers farming again, to resettle people on land that they understand how to till. We need to figure out how to resettle people together so that the Barbar continues to be a language of the streets and does not get relegated to a language of the home and then lost. In 2020, we all remember endless telethons, fundraisers, a constant drumbeat of pressure and financial support. Every thought and every post was about Artsakh. And I get that this isn't like 2020, where every family in Armenia and many in the diaspora were impacted by having a son or a neighbor or a cousin or a student fighting or lost. I know it's harder to know what to do now, but we cannot shrug our shoulders and pass this off on disinterested governments. We need to do something now to help people. We have lost the land. We lost it so quickly that, as my friend said right after crossing the border to Kornizor, that we never even got to harvest the Karl yoke. We might not ever get it back. I hope we do, we might. But we have not yet lost Artsakh's people and her culture, and they need our support. Thank you very much.